Bad and the Odd. They don't half talk some bollocks.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Odd. We hosts Mark and Sam. Hi, Sam.
Hey.
Right, so we decided we'd do Punisher Season 2, because we kind of dug The Punisher in both Daredevil Season 2 and Season 1 of The Punisher 2, didn't we? So we thought we'd sort of dive into this. It came out on Netflix, 2-3 weeks ago? Something like that?
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago.
Along those lines.
Yeah.
So.
This season was a bit longer than Season 1, I think. I remember Season 1 being 10 episodes, but I could be wrong. Whereas this is 13. Now, there's kind of a few plots going on in this one. Oh, and this will be spoiler filled. We're going to just spoil this, right? So, that's the way it is. It doesn't really matter. I wouldn't have thought. Well, maybe the very end, but, this is the Punisher, right?
Yeah.
So we got kind of two. It starts with Frank trying to get out the life, but kind of being suckered back into it because this girl he spends the night with and he kind of grows close to kind of get shot by mistake. And then these thugs, gang, I don't know, like mercenaries really, are after this young girl. And he don't like any of that. So he kind of beats the crap out of them. Not bad. What do you think of the first few episodes?
First few episodes were okay.
I really liked.
He kind of wasn't doing.
Sorry,
he wasn't really punishing much.
No,
like I admit, like that's kind of the point. He's trying to get out the life.
Yeah.
But the other main story element, which was this girl, she later says her name's Rachel, and then Amy, and you find out she's got a bunch of other names.
Yeah.
It's just
she's a street rat,
messing
isn't
about.
She? She's a street rat.
Yeah.
It's quite a good actress. I thought she was good in the role.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. It's quite a good cast in it. I have to say, of the first few episodes, I really liked episode 3, which was more like a siege on the police station kind of episode.
Yeah.
It reminded me a bit of Assault on Precinct 13 kind of vibe. And they wouldn't let Frank go, would they, while they're putting up with all this crap. But then he gets out and takes out everyone in the woods. It's kind of funny how good he is at taking all these people out.
I like his reaction. It's just like, you got any black tape? And then he's just off. So that's all he needs to start killing people.
Yeah, it doesn't mess around. And he's kind of, he won't let this girl out. He doesn't know why they want her, but he can't be bothered to explain anything to her. He just ties her up. So she can't escape and he has to sleep. And it kind of looks all a bit dodgy, but, it's Frank Castle. He's still as angry as he ever was, really. The only thing is, he's a little more forgiving. He's not, there's a few scenes in here where when people mention their kids, he kind of really hesitates and he's not sure what to do. But other than that, he'll just kill people.
He was still a bit more forgiving than he normally is. Like, when he and Rachel went and tracked down a pedophile because he had photo processing stuff. Because, that's the only way you could get photographs processed.
As a pedophile,
you have to track down a pedophile and, get his stuff.
Yeah.
And he doesn't kill the pedophile.
No, he just
burns down his house.
Yeah, and he probably wrecks him as well. But he doesn't
beat him up, but he doesn't kill him.
Now that is unusual for Punisher, actually. Not much punish kind of stuff in this. It's more like it's a more convoluted plot. Now there were at least two main threads, right? There was the whole Rousseau thing. We saw Jigsaw kind of recovering from season 1, and he's lost his memory.
Yeah, the makeup for him was pretty bad.
It was barely scarred. Scarred. It just looked
like he's horrifying and deformed. And he's got 3 lines across his face.
Yeah, I have to say the Jigsaw in Punisher Warzone was a way better Jigsaw.
Yeah, see, that's what I was expecting because he'd had his face dragged across a broken mirror.
Yeah, I did
I expected gouges and
all sorts. Yeah, and he wore the mask for quite a bit, and I thought the mask was a kind of a cool idea. He decorated himself, but when we actually finally got to see his face, it's like, it made me think of the Phantom of the Opera movie 2004.
I'm a monster, and he's slightly pink,
and he's got some slightly cool scars, right?
Yeah.
So there was the whole Rousseau arc, but there was also this Pilgrim arc, which was involved the girl and photos and stuff like that, wasn't it? What did you think of the new character Pilgrim?
Pilgrim was pretty cool. It was like an almost another Punisher, like
Yeah.
operating from, I want to say the Deep South.
He
but
was
I can't really
well. He was
remember.
operating from somewhere religious and
Yeah.
fundamentalist,
Yeah,
and he was obviously a man with a past because he
Yeah,
really
we
knew
saw,
what he was
like,
doing.
yeah. Not only that, but he had like faded tattoos of like iron crosses and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's clear, even though he was kind of an analog for the Punisher, he still clearly wasn't in the right. Whatever
yeah.
he does.
No, he was some sort of white supremacist. Maybe it's kind of hard
Yeah.
to tell, wasn't it? But he was. I liked the Pilgrim actually quite a bit. I liked all of that stuff.
I just think it had kind of a disappointing conclusion.
Yeah, I
Like,
agree.
We can get to it, but
Yeah, I kind of agree. But however, I did like yeah, actually, let's leave it till we get to that. But basically, these mercs are after this girl because of a reel of photos. And they kind of, and it's like, oh, there's a big conspiracy going on. What's going on here? And as we get into it, we find out what's behind Pilgrim. And we also, another main character we're introduced in this is this psychiatrist woman that's looking after Rousseau.
yeah, Dr. Dumont, she
Dr.
was
Dumont.
a bit dumb.
She had her own problems, it turned out, as the show went on, didn't it? She obviously had some sort of deep problem. First, you thought she
Yeah.
was like a TV psychiatrist who was like super insightful and stuff like that. But she was like pretty wacky as well
Yeah.
towards the end of it. There was scarring on her, like she'd done cuts.
You know what she reminded me of? She reminded me of the, in the Arkham Asylum comic,
Yeah.
there's like the psychiatrist that basically has wrecked all the inmates, but
Yeah.
thinks she's like done amazing jobs with all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, she reminded me of her.
That's a really good call. Yeah, she was very much like her, wasn't she? Yeah.
Whereas, like,
You know what? I was thinking of like
she had
Harley
Two-Face
Quinn.
with like a deck of cards instead of his coin, and
Yeah.
you just couldn't decide before. You couldn't decide to go to the bathroom,
And he
before
pissed his
people
pants,
stuff, so-
didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good call because I was thinking more stuff like Harley Quinn, but I think the one you've just described is actually much more like this one. She kind of wants to help people, but she's got her own severe problems. Also, we get Madani back. She's back.
Yeah.
And she's really on a rampage with Russo. She goes
Yeah.
and hassles him pretty much every day, even though it's not her case anymore because she got shot by him, right? And he can't remember any of this, so there's no guilt attached. There's quite a lot of vets talking in self-help groups in this, isn't there? There's the guy that runs the self-help group. He's one of the
back,
characters.
so-
And there's another police officer, a black police officer, who's kind of investigating what's going on. He's kind of like...
He's so far out of his depth,
he doesn't know what... Yeah, when he takes Frank Castle in the ambulance and you think, yeah, dude, you really shouldn't take Frank Castle anywhere on his own. Whatever
You and the Punisher in a secluded space.
Yeah.
I wonder how this is going to
Yeah,
go.
it's never good. The only benefit there is you're a cop, so he's not going to kill you, but he might well hurt you. There was a few the violence was brutal and sort of crunchy.
Yeah.
And we often saw the after effects of the violence, which is kind of, you don't often see in action
See,
films.
that's where it kind of fell apart for me. Because it got pretty... Like, Punisher himself had some pretty realistic injury.
Yeah.
Like, he broke his hand fairly early on, and he had, like, not a cast, but, like, a binding, almost like a splint sort of thing together, which was apparently an actual thing. John Bernthal broke his hand early into filming, so they just made it a thing.
Okay. That's fair enough.
But, like, there's a bit where Pilgrim got into a fight about halfway through, and he got, like, stabbed, and, like, they raked the knife across him.
Yeah.
And he had, like, a big cut. But
Yeah.
it seems to have been open and bleeding for, like, several days afterwards.
Yeah,
And
and
it just doesn't affect him.
Doesn't affect
It's
him.
like-
Yeah. I mean, he takes some brutal punishment in this, does Pilgrim.
Yeah.
Even more than the Punisher. There's a fight in a bar, which actually reminded me of a film. There was a movie called Coogan's Bluff with Clint Eastwood. And it reminded me of that. There's basically, he gets in a bar with about 6 blokes and they've all got pool cues. They beat the crap out of Clint Eastwood and just leave him for like wrecked. And then they all leave. And the bloke that told him to do it is like sitting there laughing at him. But then Clint Eastwood just gets up and beats the crap out of him anyway. And that scene reminded me of this. But no, this scene with Pilgrim in the that was his old gang, wasn't it, or something? I couldn't quite work it out.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, he was an ex-gangster as well as whatever he was.
Yeah.
That's why he was so tough, right, and knew what he was doing. But it was bits where it was like picking people's teeth out of his scalp because he'd headbutted this bloke and broke all his teeth. And you saw it; it was kind of brutal, and there was lots of knife damage going on and stuff like that. So kind of. What do you think of it overall this season?
I thought it was okay, but it had a kind of wonky ending.
Yeah, I wasn't really taken with the Rousseau stuff. It didn't work for me. I thought it was a bit emo, actually. I know it sounds a bit weird to say, but it just felt a bit, I'm not well, you know. But I like the whole premise of him starting to recruit.
It's like he is a monster, and his whole arc throughout this was basically, why is everyone picking on me?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I agree. I liked the arc where he was starting to like recruit vets to do crime, and they were slowly getting better at it. But I think that needed to be almost from the beginning and a slightly longer arc to make sense.
I didn't get that as well. They start off with like almost like vigilante justice sort of thing. Like he stops the other vet having his car taken.
Yeah.
But then they immediately go like, oh, we should commit crimes.
Yeah, and they're trained, so they just start doing stuff, and it just doesn't...
Yeah.
It felt a bit cursory, didn't it?
Yeah.
I felt the stronger element was the Pilgrim stuff, actually, but there wasn't enough of it.
Yeah.
I felt that would have been stronger as the whole story in many ways. You know, just...
They seesawed between them too heavily.
Yeah.
Like, it started off with the Pilgrim stuff. Russo was stuck in the hospital.
Yeah.
But then, like, Russo got out, and Pilgrim almost immediately disappeared from the story.
For about 4 episodes?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I would have...
Then he came back, and Russo, like, immediately started laying low.
Disappeared, yeah. I would have preferred an 8-episode run of just the Pilgrim, and maybe 6 or 7, or 8 or 9. Actually, the Russo stuff would have been better if it had been longer in terms of the whole training up his mercs to be, his ex-forces people to be proper criminals. That would have been kind of interesting too. And they could have done that while Punisher was doing his stuff. I did like the fact they introduced Russians in this. I was hoping there'd be a fight with the famous fight in the Punisher.
The Russian,
but it was just a gang of Russians. But he properly wrecks them too. Doesn't he? It's kind of very funny. He gets some bloke to sort of set him up, so he goes in the gym and then he just beats the crap out of all these Russians with the equipment. And again, it's properly, it looks properly realistic and brutal. This is a hard 18. The stuff going on in this show, it really is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Was there any other main characters? We've kind of covered them all, haven't we? Really, the Russian come in. There was one point he was going to execute this Russian mobster, and he says, "Please don't shoot me in the face. My daughters. I want my daughters to be able to see me." And the Punisher lets him go, but Pilgrim kills him instantly anyway. So that lets the Punisher off the hook, but Pilgrim just kills everyone. Yeah. So you get a proper sense of menace. I like the actor. I've not seen him in anything, but I thought he was a really good actor. There were some really good set pieces as well in terms of the fights. I think episode 1 had a good fight. Episode 3 with the police station, as we talked about the Russians. And there's several, aren't there? I mean, it's quite a lot.
Yeah.
There's one bit where the Punisher's beating up people in a lift, cops in a lift as well, and stuff like that. It's kind of funny. You think these guys got no chance.
Yeah.
And I like I would have liked a bit more of him training the girl up, because it had a bit of a Leon the Professional vibe, where she's saying, "How do I look after myself?" And he starts showing her stuff, doesn't he? But when she does it to him, he gets really knocked.
Yeah.
When they're not training, he said, "I could have killed you." She's going, "But I'm just doing what you showed me." And he's like, "Don't do that."
I did find it weird, the inclusion of the people behind Pilgrim, the people that sent him out, because it seems they're like this weird alt-right sort of
couple.
like waspy family sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like super rich in the deep south sort of deal. And I'm not saying they shouldn't be killed. I'm saying there should be more of them, and it should have been more drawn out.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit cursory, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I didn't quite put it together till the end. I was like, so they're... Because I thought they were head of the community that Pilgrim was in. That's how it came across in the first few episodes. It's like they're just part of his community, and they say, no, you got to do, But it turns out they're paying for his wife's treatment, which then gives them control over. But the religious stuff didn't then fit in. It fitted in when you thought they were part of a community, and Pilgrim was like a religious type. But as soon as it was like, no, they're just paying for his wife to say, well, that didn't work, did it? It didn't work as a narrative. I thought they needed to go with one or the other.
Subplot of them trying to take over America by putting their son,
their gay son,
senator.
And the whole thing is, the whole mayhem was about someone's got a picture of their son kissing another guy, and that's it. It's like okay.
Because a senator wouldn't have this sort of attention on him.
Yeah, I think it was a commentary on Trump, presumably.
Yeah, probably, but
that kind of power group, that kind of group where they cut hard on sort of gay people and women, and it's all that kind of stuff was written through this kind of that part of the plot anyway. I really I'm still like John. Is it Bernthal? John Bernthal is the Punisher. I think it's really good. I felt there was a few missteps in this series. I really would have preferred just a plot about the Pilgrim or a plot about Rousseau, but the mixing, it just felt like it was a bit hard to follow what was going on. And like you say, we didn't see Pilgrim for 4 episodes, and Pilgrim was a great character. And it's like,
he was really creepy. He had that sort of the agents from the Matrix vibe about him.
Yeah,
he'd have like this big black suit and like a sort of like, I can't remember what they're called, the little neck things on, and this big broad hat.
Yeah, like a dog. So, his coat was turned up, so it almost looked like a dog collar, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then plus he was quoting Bible and stuff, wasn't he? And talking about sinners. So that whole thing didn't quite work in terms of. I liked it, but it didn't work in terms of these people
remember he
controlling
had
him.
the assistant for like the first few appearances, the one who was like going into computers and doing stuff for him with that. Yeah. And then he just disappeared.
Yeah, yeah. So there was some inconsistencies, but it's a shame, really. It could have been. I think I would have preferred a shorter, tighter, more focused season. I would have preferred to see this as season 2 and 3, one about Rousseau and one about Pilgrim. I did like the Pilgrim stuff quite a bit. So in a way, it suffered the same way I think Daredevil season 2 suffered, where the Punisher stuff was fantastic and the Elektra stuff was naff. But I don't think this was as bad as that. Okay.
The last 2 episodes had me laughing quite a bit because, in spite of their goriness, they had some weird, humorous moments. Like Madani like finishes up her fight with the Doctor, she like slightly pushes her, and the Doctor gets launched out of a window. And I've watched Danger 5 recently, and it's exactly whenever Hitler jumps out the window in that.
It does look a bit like that. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it was a bit goofy.
In the last one, there was the weird bit where Rousseau went and found like a surgeon. I can't remember if it was the last one or like episode 12.
It was it could have been either the end of episode 2 or the beginning of 13. I can't remember. I think it was 13. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy sounded like Rodney Dangerfield.
It was did so a bit.
Fitting. Yeah. He was like, and he had the same sort of intonation as well. So he was like, don't use any, like, no drugs and don't knock me out. And he's like, look, you do this, you'll flinch. I'll take the bun, 2 bits of your liver off. Like, oh my God.
I get no respect. I did like the fact he passed out and you think, is he dead? And then he woke up in a dumpster. That was kind of funny.
I just dumped him.
Yeah, just dumped him. Let's talk about the last few episodes. The fight between the 2 women was kind of... Actually, I really liked the scene where they kind of knew the other one knew about them, but they didn't react on it at first.
That was
kind of Hitchcockian. that kind of vibe. I did like that, and the fight was brutal again.
Yeah, the fight was brutal. Didn't really make sense because one is a trained cop and the other is a psychiatrist.
And we get a weird little insight into the psychiatrist, which was, again, a bit too little too late, because Madani says, I looked at your record, it's habit, I know what happened. And then we kind of find out, I don't know, it was weird. When she fell out the window, was lying on the pavement. It was kind of, we got a flashback of someone else lying on the pavement, I think.
Yeah.
So I couldn't quite work out what was going on there, but that was kind of someone she loved died, falling out of a window.
Maybe.
Or something. It wasn't enough, really. It didn't really inform anything. It just felt tacked in.
Yeah.
So we didn't really find it. But I kind of liked what was going on there. But she doesn't die, does she? That woman didn't die from that fall. So,
No.
so I see a couple of potential... sort of, if any of the characters in this are going to repeat, a couple of potential ones, sort of threads. Firstly, Pilgrim's still around.
Well, he's still around, but he's kind of
Got his kids.
pacified. He's got his kids, so there's no... And his wife's dead, so...
Oh, you could definitely see, if they were to do a season 3, I would strongly like to see Pilgrim come back. For some reason, you know. And there's, you know, this is the world of the Punisher. Something bad happens... people get involved again, right? And it'd be kind of cool to see Pilgrim and Punisher working together or something like that. Or just going for the same thing but trying to not stop the, I don't know, some sort of thing where they're not directly against each other but possibly in competition or, I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
We also get Madani's now in the CIA and she's asking Frank, you know, if he wants to work for him. Also, we see Frank out as the Punisher finally.
Yeah, he's finally. He donned the skull for a bit.
Yeah, very briefly.
He didn't have like the big coat to go along with it, so it was a bit. Yeah.
Amy's out of it now. She went off on the bus station and he gave her a load of money, so that's fine. The other one that may be interesting is the psychiatrist is still there and went full Tonto, right? So she might turn into something, right?
Yeah, I don't know what you mean by full Tonto, but
she jumped out of the plane.
Oh.
Gone postal. She went postal.
Okay.
Never mind. But of course, let's come back to Russo. Not a great ending for Russo.
No,
really.
he kind of just dies. So.
It was a bit of a whimper. Basically, he phones up the bloke that runs the self-help group, asks him to come sit with him, and he just hangs up. He's like, I've got no time for this guy. Then Frank finds him, and he starts to plead with Frank and starts to sort of reason with him, and Frank just shoots him. Right?
Yeah. There's
no messing about with Frank. He's not going to listen to that guy anymore. I have to say, I thought the whole series was filmed very well. It looked good. There were some really nice scenes and shots. And I remember one sort of flashback where it's Russo and Castle like running a gauntlet of other Marines, punching them.
Doing like a hazing.
Hazing thing. I thought that was really cool, actually.
Yeah.
And I had no complaints about any of the acting. I thought it was very solid. Oh, apart from Madani, I find Madani not a great actress.
It was a bit like wooden this season.
Well, she kind of,
she had much more to do when she was actually investigating Castle last season.
Yeah, that's true. But I just find her acting emoting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than natural. I don't have any complaints about John Barenthal or the Amy or anyone else. It's just I find the woman, the actress doing Madani, you know, it's like, oh, she's doing a bit of acting now. It feels like that when you're watching her. I kind of had that problem with her. It was good to see Karen. Karen popped up in one episode, did a bit of detective work. It's kind of cool.
It's kind of
parachuted in a bit, right?
Yeah.
Going on about how she feels about Frank, and then clearing off again after one episode. That's kind of funny. Yeah. I was hoping we might see, you know the woman who plays the nurse in Daredevil, who sometimes patches up?
Yeah.
She's pretty good. I was hoping
she could have shown up. They were like probably at a hospital, knowing like Marvel coincidence.
Yeah. It would have been nice to see her. But yeah, I'm glad they made another season. It could have been better. I wouldn't. You know what? I'd love to see if they do have a third season. A bit of Wilson Fisk again.
Yeah.
That would be kind of awesome. You know, a Wilson Fisk versus Punisher and Pilgrim would be my ideal
They should do
choice.
just Welcome Back Frank.
Yeah.
Comics.
Yeah, they could do that. Yeah, that would
Mainly
be
because
amazing.
everyone wants the Russian in it.
I wanna see two things in a Punisher show: him fight a massive Russian, and him be chased through a zoo and jump in a bear pit, punch a bear and jump out again. While the other guys jump in the bear pit. That's an amazingly famous and funny Punisher moment, right? That would be kind of cool. Though I think this Punisher's a bit too serious for that kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm still waiting for Punisher in the MCU, you know, the films.
Oh, I think most people consider it like decanonized, so yeah.
Yeah, but it would have been so good to see him in Civil War, right?
Yeah. That would have been pretty funny.
But yeah,
if they had like enough villains to actually do the comic book Civil War, that would have been funny.
Right.
Like where the villain showed up and he just shot all of them, was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been amazing. But, you know, this is like for kids, so maybe not.
Yeah.
In the comics, it works. It's very good, though. It's the highlight, really. So how would you rate it? Would you think the first season's better? Second season's
I think
better?
the first season was a fair bit better.
Yeah.
First off, like, the storytelling was a bit better. And the fighting was better choreographed. And they had a clearer villain.
Yeah.
So.
I kind of agree. I really liked Pilgrim. I did, but there wasn't enough of him. And I think it was the two plot lines didn't help. They didn't build together. They diluted each other. That was my problem, really. But I'm glad I watched it. I kind of enjoyed watching it. I don't think I'm ever going to watch season 2 again. Well, I may. I'd definitely, if given a choice, I'd watch season 1 again, for sure. And I'd definitely watch the Punisher parts of Daredevil season 2 again, because they were fantastic. I really think this guy's a good Punisher as well. That really helps, you know. So, I'm hoping at some point there'll be a Punisher movie. And I'll be happy with this guy,
Probably not with this guy. Probably sometime in the future.
Yeah.
After the MCU's like wrapped up.
Yeah, I think it might be time for a younger Punisher, maybe. Something like that. You know, obviously he can't be that young because his backstory means he's of a certain age and sort of level of experience. But I'd like to see a Punisher movie again, actually. Though they're never going to top Warzone. That was amazing.
That was so mental.
That was really good. What would you give this out of 10?
I'd give this 7.5.
Yeah, I think 7.5, but I'd have to stress the Pilgrim stuff and some of the other stuff around that is like more like an 8 or 9 for me, but the Russo stuff is closer to a 5.5, 5.5 kind of thing. Wow. I found it quite weak, and the way he went out too is like. It wasn't. They were kind of trying to do a kind of Joker thing, and it wasn't working.
Yeah,
kinda. It's not quite Joker. Joker meets, damaged vet, kind of.
They were trying to do Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah, and it wasn't working. It really wasn't working, and he didn't look all that bad anyway. I did like the whole. There was a slight subplot where Frank thought he'd killed innocent women, and it gave him a crisis of conscience. But Karen parachuted in and solved the mystery around that almost straight away. So that got resolved real quick, right? And I did like the fact that Punisher was really concerned with protecting Amy. That became his sort of reason to be for quite a bit of it, wasn't it? Even though she didn't really want it.
No,
he
wasn't that interested. She wasn't that interested in
it.
But
he still kind of looked after her, didn't he? That was cool. Yeah. So okay, then let's wind it up there. Did I score? I can't remember. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah. All right then. Okay. So until next time, bye from me.
Bye.
We like to hear from our listeners at The Good, The Bad and the Odd, so if you have any thoughts on this week's topic or anything else movie or TV related, drop us a line at info@thegoodthebadandtheodd.com. Written or MP3 attached, we like both. We're available on Stitcher, iTunes, and as an RSS feed. Just go to www.thegoodthebadandtheodd.com for links to these. Also, feel free to come chat with us by joining our Facebook group on www.facebook.com/groups/thegood, all as one word. Thanks for listening, and until next time on The Good, the Bad, and the Odd.